Welcome back to Just Got Played. It's your boy Jim Jam JJ here, and I got another unboxing for you. As you can see, it is Star Wars: The Deckbuilding Game. This is from Fantasy Flight Studios in the world of Star Wars, if you didn't catch that part. It takes about 30 minutes, and it's only 2 players. So one person's the light side versus somebody on the dark side, or the Rebels and the Empire, yada, yada, yada. Taking turns, trying to win over the power of the Force with your characters, vehicles, and equipment to destroy the other side's bases. So you have a lot of the iconic Rebel bases, you have a lot of the Empire bases, all the iconic stuff on here. You take like 3 or 5 or something like that, depending on how long you want to play, and you randomly shuffle those together. Each base has a special ability, and you just try to destroy the opponent's base, but then they get different abilities when they do that, and yada, yada, yada. But I have my knife, and we're going to go through this unboxing real quick. The game has been out for a few months now. I just finally got myself a copy because it is 2 players. I wasn't super excited to purchase it, but after playing it once, twice, it's like, okay, you know what? Got a good deal on it, so I'm going to go ahead and get it because I feel like most deck builders can be scaled from like 2 to 4, 5, 6 players for the most part. So it's interesting they did a 2-player version of a deck building game from Fantasy Flight. They have the Star Wars IP license. Ooh, this is a nice thick book here. Okay, so I went through the instructions when I first played, not having known anything about it. It wasn't too complicated. You have the Force. It's like a board, lets you know the balance of the Force. So if you swing the Force from the light side where it starts back to the dark side, if you're playing as the Empire, your cards get more special abilities. And likewise for the Rebels, if you keep it on the light side, some of your cards get special abilities. But yeah, we have vehicles, we have characters, and we have vehicles, characters, and equipment. So a lot of the iconic stuff, and Fantasy Flight having a lot of the different Star Wars games. They had to take a lot of the same art from all the different games. So if you played the TCG, Star Wars back in the day, and then you play like Outer Rim and stuff like that, you'll notice a lot of the same art. I rather enjoy the art. So anytime they come out of the game that has cards for the Star Wars, it's like, oh, I recognize that art. I played that card in the game. And yada, yada, yada. I still have some of the dice game there, if you guys are wondering. Cards have different costs, like any other deck builder. In Power Rangers is a deck building game. The villains can only buy villains, and the heroes can only buy heroes. So they scaled it up even more with even though it's a different company, with Star Wars deck building game, where you can only purchase, if you're the Rebels, you can only purchase Rebel cards, and if you are the Empire, you can only purchase Empire cards. Otherwise, you can destroy them like you can in Power Rangers the deck building game. Going to make a lot of references to that because that's exactly what it felt like when I was playing it. But when you destroy the other opposing side's cards, you get a reward. And I was going to say something else and I forgot. Oh, there's also gray cards, which both people can purchase. So yeah, there's neutral cards. Of course there are in the game. Let's see here. I'm just going to take a quick look through the rule book here. So it's pretty much, same thing I just said. Some of the characters and vehicles and stuff give you attack, and then you have, of course, the coin, the credits for buying power. If you guys know anything, from the previous Star Wars games, they have the little credits and the pistol symbol indicating your resources and your attack. And then they have, let's see here, there is another resource. Of course, you have the cubes for buying resources and damages. Okay, so you have resource supply, cubes, kind of like a counter to let you know how much money you have to purchase cards with. But they go at the end of the turn, like most deck builders. So it's just kind of like a physical way for you to count up what you have for the turn. So if you're attacking, you can attack and buy cards. So just to keep it in your head, there's no like attack cubes. They just have the damage cubes. So damages stack on the other players' bases, and then also in a Star Wars deck building game, you have capital ships. So even more like Star Realms type thing, when you have like a ship or a base. I guess not in Star Realms because you don't keep the ships, but the ships stay around until they get destroyed, and the top base stays there until it gets destroyed. So you have damage cubes on there to indicate how much damage the ship or base has taken. Those damage cubes, of course, they stay out over the time, but the resources go away whether you use them to buy or not. And then let's see, that's pretty much it. Plays like a regular deck builder. The biggest thing is, like, if you are playing the Empire and there's no blue Empire cards out, hopefully you get a gray, because otherwise you can just attack. That's it. So had that happen a couple of times in the games that I had played, and it's like, yeah, and it's called the Galaxy Row here, the main buy area. So if you have no Galaxy Row cards, the ongoing card is the Outer Rim Pilot, which gives you just resources. Yeah. There's not much you can do on your turn, so you kind of have like dead turns if you can't buy cards or attack cards. Hopefully you bought cards, some really high attack cards, because even if there's no cards that come out that you can buy, you can at least attack something. And hopefully they have low attack, because yeah, that's pretty rough. I guess if nothing else, you can pile damage onto the opposing player's ship and or base. Oh, the other resource is the amount of force the card generates. So you can swing the force back to your side, which is interesting because that was the indirect damage symbol on the TCG. So yeah, interesting. Let's see. So the ships generate resources every turn that they're out. So you get that stuff every turn unless you destroy the ship. And then the bases have an ongoing ability. And of course you have a starting base for each side. And then as you get your bases destroyed, they have different abilities. I did take a quick look through all the bases. They have some pretty good abilities. But anyways, that's how the game plays. Pretty simple, except for the little things with the damage and the resource. Not too complicated. It was pretty fun. I learned how to play it pretty quickly. So let's take a look at the cards here. And I know there's a tab on here somewhere. Oh, no, just one of those top packs. All right, so let's take a look at this. Let's put this over here. You can still see it, but we will not go into looking at it just as of yet. But yeah, so my initial thoughts while I'm trying to get this open is it was a very fun game, very quick and very simple. But yeah, you can get stuck on a turn where there's not much you can do. Let us bring back my knife for the second time, which was my only gripe of the game. Because if you do not buy any high damage or high resource cards, you're kind of stuck not being able to do very much of anything. All right, might need my knife out for a little bit longer. All right, so here is the force board, double-sided. So you have your cube. Where is the force cube? Should be in there. A little white cube in there for the force board. Starts on the light side, obviously. And in addition to having better abilities on your cards, when you have the force on your side, you get the +1 buy power credit, resource, whatever you want to call it, on your turn if you manage to swing it all the way. And then there is a neutral right here in the middle where nobody gets anything. Reference card or reference cards, which is pretty nice. Love when the game does that. Fantasy Flight is really good about doing that when they have a game. So we have the Outer Rim Pilot, which is the always available card that you can buy. You can buy Mercenary Pilot from the Outer Rim. They are cost 2, and they produce 2 resources when you play them. Exile this unit to gain 1 force. What is it? Force? Force. It's just force. Okay, so you swing it back in your direction. Anybody can buy these. These are always up on the side of the Galaxy. Where is it? Galaxy line. And everybody got to come up with a different name for all their games. Yada, yada, yada. Galaxy Row. Okay. So now let's take a look at this. I think these are the Rebel starting cards. And of course, yes, I do. I need my knife again. Hopefully do not damage the cards with my knife. It'd be a very bad knife. Okay. Taking all the stuff and throwing it on the floor. Yeah. Okay. So we have starter cards. You have Rebel Trooper. 0 cost because the starting card, as is typical in most deck builders. And they produce 2 fights or 2, what do you call it? Attack in this game. All right, 2 Rebel Troopers to start off. You have an Alliance Shuttle, 0 cost, produces 1 resource. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7. Okay. 7, that's 9. And then you get a Temple Guardian, which is a Jedi Acolyte or something like that. Temple Guardian, yeah, so they're not Jedi, but they have force sensitive stuff going on. They have a double saber. That's interesting. I didn't know that. 0 cost, doesn't produce attack or any. Would be nice if they did a force, but of course not. When you play a Temple Guardian, choose. They gain 1 attack, 1 resource, or 1 force this turn. So you get a little choice. Okay, I guess you get it. use a choice. Okay, and then we have the bases. So basically, you take Dantooine. I don't remember if I remember Dantooine. But anyways, that's the starting base. Basically, it says start the game with this base in play. And then you get to, this is the attack of the base. So the opponent has to equal that or go over it in order to destroy the base. I don't think damage carries over. So once you destroy the base, hold on. Okay, so yes, excess damage does not carry over to the next base. Basically, they get to keep this in their victory pile, and then you reveal the next base. And each base has a different ability. Some of them are triggered, some of them are ongoing. I will not say what the abilities are, but we'll name some of the bases. Hopefully, the Star Wars geeks will know what they're talking about. I did not know. Even I didn't know all these, but there's some main ones on here. So you have Mon Cala. Looks like the water planet. I think this is where the clones were developed. Of course, Tatooine. We all know that one. Sullust. I don't remember Sullust. Don't remember that one. Yavin 4, of course, very popular. Hoth, very popular. Bespin. So that's where Cloud City is, because that's the name of the ability. That's interesting. Dagobah, of course. Alderaan, of course. And then Jeddah. I don't remember Jeddah. So there's some bases I don't remember, but got all the main ones in there for the Rebels. So we have the Rebel starter deck, and then you put that. So basically, you take a certain amount of bases, depending on, like I said, the length of the game. I think you can vary it as much as possible as you want to. Oh, here we go. We went right past the setup. Okay, so find the 5 rebel bases, 5 total bases. Yeah, that's what we played. So the short game is just 5, and then if you want to do the long full Galaxy game, is all 10 bases. But that was the Rebels. Let us pull out the Empire and take a look at those. Not damage the cards with my knife. All right. So we have Stormtrooper, of course. Same thing as the Rebel Trooper. 2 damage, 2 attack, and 0 cost. And then we have the Imperial Shuttle. It gives us 1 resource, and of course we have 7 of those, 0 cost. And then the Inquisitor instead of the Temple Guardian. We have the Inquisitors. Of course we do. They are Force sensitive, but they are not Sith. Okay. And then the same thing, you have to start with Lothal, and then you do 4 other random bases. So they have the same defense on them. Not going to go over the powers just like the other ones, but then let's take a look at the names. So we have Corellia. I guess that's where the Star Destroyers are made, because it says Imperial Ship Guards for their ability. Coruscant, of course. The Death Star, of course. Endor, I guess before it was liberated. Mustafar, no. Kafrene, which is not a base. I don't remember Kafrene. That's interesting. It looks like it's got a little thing between 2 asteroids. Interesting. Ord Mantell, it says bounty hunting, so I'm assuming that's where the bounty hunters are. I don't know. Kessel, of course, old Kessel Run, and then Rhodia. All right, so most of the names I know, some of them are like, oh, maybe I have to do a little research. Yeah, figure out what's going on. Okay, so let's look at the cards from the deck, the main deck. Don't know what's actually called. Galaxy deck. Oh man, come on. There we go. Try not to damage any of the cards. And then we have this here. We have units. That's just units. So the equipment units. Okay. We have the Neutrons, Headhunters, an X. No, not an X-Wing. Z95 Headhunter, Jawas, Rhodey and Gunslinger. Oh. Whatchamacallit shot first? Yeah, that one. Keldor Mystic. Okay, so randomly. A Lobot, of course. You have signature characters. Bosk. Fang Fighter. Twi'lek Smuggler. Okay, so a bunch of the gray cards. Erock Cruiser. Dengar. Corrin Mercenary. So just like in the other games, the unique characters, the ones that are specifically named, have the unique symbol next to them. So there's only 1 copy of those. As you can see, Blockade Runner. IG-88. Of course, Nebula B Frigate. Capital Ship. That's a great card, but it's the capital ship. Okay, of course, Lando Calrissian. Obviously, you know the names. You're playing these Star Wars games. Those are familiar. And then the art is definitely from all the Fantasy Flight games. Anything that has a deck and cards in there, that is part of it. Jabba the Hutt, neutral. You can just buy them off. So this all gets mixed together. And here we go. We have the Rebel cards, of course, Y-Wings, and of course, Baze Malbus, Snow Speeders, Duro Spy, of course, Rebel Transports, Chirrut MY. I keep messing his name up. Rebel Commando. I'll be looking like Leia in the third episode Star Wars movie. X-Wings, of course. Okay, so let's put this down here. And then finally, we have the other half of the Galaxy deck. I don't even know what it's called. Main deck cards. Oh my gosh. We're doing so well. It's not breaking any cards. Okay. Last little deck here. And of course, we have Chewbacca. So it's going through all the names. Jyn Erso, even the new ones and the old ones. U-Wings, very popular. Hammerhead Corvettes. We know those. Han Solo. Cassian. So as you can see, they have the newer characters and the old characters, just playing to everybody's nostalgia and the newness. Princess Leia, yep. Millennium Falcon, Luke Skywalker, of course, with those there. And then we have the Empire cards, TIE Fighters, Admiral Piet, TIE Bombers, Scout Troopers, Death Troopers, TIE Interceptor, Gozati Cruiser, Moff Jajerod. Oh man. Some of these names, General Veers, yep, AT-ST, of course, Landing Craft, and then Director Krennic, of course, Boba Fett, Imperial Carrier, very popular, Grand Moff Tarkin, AT-AT, Star Destroyers, of course, and then, of course, Darth Vader. No Emperor, though. That is it for Star Wars The Deck Builder. Only 2 players, so not a whole lot of cards in the main deck like it is in most deck builders, because you only have the 2 players going on there. As I said, I very much enjoyed it. It is only 2 players, which is like good and bad because, I don't know, most deck builders to me can be scalable. So if I have 2 players or I have 4 players, I'd like to be able to play one game that everybody knows. But there's plenty of deck builders to do that. It's very simple game, not a whole lot of table space. And as I was referencing, it takes aspects from a bunch of different deck builders and puts it into one. I do like the fact that you're attacking the other player's bases and then you can attack their cards. I do not like the fact that you can only buy your cards with your color cards, and hopefully you have some grays that are mixed up. As you can see, these stacks are about the same, so it's an equal mixing, but sometimes you just get unlucky. And there's nothing you can do. And like I said, hopefully you bought. That would be my strategy tip. Buy high cost, high damage cards, high resource, high damage cards to help you do something when you don't have cards you can buy. You want more options. So high resource cards, high damage cards, so you can do something on your turn. There's all opponents' cards in the Galaxy row. But other than that, I really enjoyed the game. Very easy, of course, to put the million other characters that are in here and make it way more. Next expansion could, add the 3rd and 4th player, and then the next one could do the 6th player. So you just have a bunch of scalable boxes, which would be great. Not a whole lot of deck builders have that, but I mean, the base game in most deck builders is pretty scalable. But that's my review. I just threw that in my unboxing, but I feel like I'm the deck building expert here. That's what Jim Jam, deck building expert. But that is it for Star Wars, the deck building game. Before I started playing it, I wasn't too thrilled, but then I played it and like, oh, this is simple. I like this. Real quick. Boom, boom, boom. Attacking each other's bases, you get an ongoing ability. Just don't forget about that ongoing ability. Like with DC, don't forget your superhero ability. Don't forget your base ability when it comes up. That's it for now. This is Jim Jam JJ. Come to the Discord. Let me know what you think of the Star Wars game. Is there too many Star Wars games now? Is Fantasy Flight just trying to get more money or something? I don't know. You let me know. Comment below, like, subscribe, share the video if you like the unboxings, you like Star Wars, you like deck builders, you like us. All that there. Just comment all that below. But for now, this is Jim Jam JJ with Just Got Played. Bye!